Hey everyone, so this is another very highly requested video. I was just going back and taking a look at the comments in the last few videos. I was looking at all the comments that you guys left on that 2,000 subscriber special, by the way. A big thank you, everyone. We're over 3,000 now, so I have to start working on that. It seems like you guys really like that, and you guys are also really looking forward to that giveaway. So once again, if you guys haven't checked it out, I'll leave a link in the description, but I am also doing a 4,950 crystal giveaway in that 2,000 subscriber special. But I've been getting a lot of YouTube comments lately, so a big thank you everyone for all the comments that you guys have been leaving. And one thing that people are asking me to do is to do a expedition video, specifically a Zakum video, and I guess even more specifically a solo Zakum video. Now I can, and I have soloed Zakum a few times on this character before. I do like to do it because I personally feel like soloing Zakum as of right now gives you a better chance of drops. Now, I can't say that to be 100% sure because it's not confirmed. It's probably never going to be fully confirmed because Nexon hasn't really said anything, but it really does seem like you get more items when you do it solo. From my experiences anyway, all the drops that I've gotten have been from my solo runs, and I have gotten a few drops, including the actual Zakum helmet. That was all from solo, by the way. I didn't get anything when I was doing group runs. I did probably 15 to 20 group runs with 10 people, not a single drop, and then I start soloing it, and now I start getting drops. So, I don't know, I don't want to get too into detail, but I thought I would go ahead and at least do a solo Zakum run on video, go ahead and record it, talk you guys through it, and also point out a few things, including the really big strategy that I use to either get no deaths at all, which I do get no deaths a lot. Occasionally I'll die once or twice here and there if I'm not really paying much attention, but it's probably the most important thing when it comes to soloing Zakum, and also the safe spot. That's another thing. There is a safe spot in the last phase of Zakum so that you don't end up getting hit by all those pillars that come crashing down. You get hit by those a lot, you're going to just take an insane amount of damage and probably die quite a bit. So they get really annoying, but there's a spot you can stand in the last phase, which makes it a lot easier. So let's go ahead and get into it, and the first most important thing when it comes to soloing Zakum, at least for me, on my bishop, is the potions. The potions that I'm going to go ahead and buy. I am not going to use these potions. If I did, I could guarantee you that I would definitely be dying quite a bit. So I'm not going to go ahead and use those potions. I'm actually going to go ahead and buy the better potions because I don't have any on any of my alts. So I'm going to go ahead and make a pretty big investment in these HP version 5.0 potions that restore 4,000 health. It is expensive, but don't forget that the prices of things are just getting really crazy. Epics are starting to sell for a lot. I know I talked about it a lot in the last video where I talk about how broken the economy has been becoming. And one of the good things is it kind of makes buying potions a lot more affordable. So 400,000 mesos is really not nearly as bad as it used to be. So I'm going to buy 396 because that's actually 4 stacks of potions. And I'm also going to buy some mana potions as well. I don't need as many of these, so I'm going to end up buying 150 of these. So it is a bit of an investment, 500,000 mesos, but this is going to assure that I can I'm not going to end up dying at all, if very little. I might die once or twice if I'm not paying much attention, but it's going to minimize my deaths. It's also going to allow me to stand in fogs without having to panic or do anything too crazy to end up wasting time. So also very important is I'm going to end up going to my pet here, and I want to make sure that my pet is using potions at 70%. And I don't want to be using these potions, so let me go ahead and switch these bigger potions right here. Let's go ahead and switch these to my hotbar. Don't need this because I don't have any more of those. So now my bigger potions, the version 5 potions, are on my hotbar, and the pet is using these potions. And yes, it's going to use a lot of them. You'll see when I'm running through, it's going to definitely go through a lot of potions, but I'm going to stay pretty close to maximum HP most of the time. Because my pets are going to use my potions every time I get below 70% health. So pretty much, because I have 14,000 health right now, every single time I go down below 10,000 or so HP, it's going to pretty much end up healing me back up to full health. So the mana potions doesn't necessarily have to be at 70%. It can go ahead and be at 50%. That's going to be fine. Bishops also have a pretty awesome skill that lets you take some of your damage as actual mana instead of HP. It's this skill Let's see, where was it? It is this one right here, Magic Guard. So 30% of the damage taken, I'm going to end up taking as MP. And also, guys, I know that there's some other videos out there of soloing Zakum. I will go ahead and say that I am not using any legendary gear, no emblem gear, no crazy pay-to-win strategies. I'm honestly very convinced that you can end up doing this with epic gear too. You don't even have to have uniques. Maybe just a unique weapon, and even then, I'm pretty sure you can end up doing this with way worse gear than I have. Obviously, it's going to take more time, but this is something that everybody is going to be capable of doing. You don't have to spend any money. You don't have to have a billion mesos worth of gear. This is something everyone is going to be able to do without a doubt. So, most important thing is going to be damage, and the second most important thing when it comes to your defensive stats is having enough HP so that you don't end up getting one shot. Really important. Have just defensive stats are usually not incredibly important, but HP is definitely one of the more important ones. So make sure you have as much HP on your gear as you can. And with that being said, let's go ahead and actually step into Zakum here. Let's see, normal, create room, because I don't want to join with other people. And I'm going to just go ahead and start. Now, I was actually using Angel Ray before I actually was doing Zakum before, and the problem with Angel Ray is, unfortunately, Angel Ray only actually ends up hitting 7 targets, which is a bit of an issue, because Angel Ray only hits 7 targets, which means you're gonna end up killing 7 of his arms, and then, unfortunately, what's gonna end up happening is you're gonna have 1 arm left over, which is gonna be at pretty much full HP. So, it kind of sucks because Angel Ray is definitely a lot more damage, but it only ends up hitting 7 targets, which definitely makes killing his arms a lot more difficult. So you can actually see where I'm standing right now. My explosion, I forgot the name of the skill. Is it Big Bang? This skill is hitting all 8 of his arms. And that's obviously going to make it good because I don't have to end up doing the thing that I was doing with Angel Ray where it would kill 7 of his arms, and then unfortunately, I would have to spend 5 to 7 minutes just beating down 1 arm that had full HP because of Angel Ray's ability to only end up hitting 7 targets. Now, downside is, this skill, is it Big Bang? I think it is. This skill, it doesn't do as much damage as Angel Ray. They actually ended up nerfing a lot of things with Bishop a couple of weeks ago. I know a lot of people were pretty upset about that update, but what they ended up doing is they really buffed the amount of damage that Angel Ray does. They buffed this as well. What they actually did is they buffed the buffs of Bishop, but it made Angel Ray do way, way, way more damage. And it buffed this a little bit, but Angel Ray still does way more damage than this skill does. It's not worth holding it down either. I know that's something a lot of people are going to recommend. Why don't you hold this skill down? You can. But it's the amount of time that it takes to charge. It seems like it's just better to go ahead and fire it off instantly. It's not really a big deal either way. I can't imagine it makes that big of a difference with the amount of time that it takes to cast and how much damage it does. It's not like it makes a big difference either way. But once we end up actually killing his arms, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to move to that safe spot that I talked about, and then I'm going to actually switch skills. I am not going to actually end up using this skill for his second phase. I'm going to actually switch from this skill to Angel Ray because Angel Ray just does almost twice as much damage per second. But I got to use this skill for this phase because, you know, it's really annoying. It took me a little while to figure out that Angel Ray was only actually hitting 7 arms at a time. Now, it usually takes me, in order to kill the arms, rough time estimates without any buffs or anything like that, it usually ends up taking me approximately, I want to say around 10 minutes or so to kill the arms. A little bit more when I actually use Angel Ray because I kill 7 arms pretty quickly. It only takes maybe 5 to 7 minutes to kill 7 arms. But then there's that really big problem of then I have to kill an entire arm that has full HP because Angel Ray only hits 7 targets. So it takes even longer. The second phase only takes... Actually, the second phase also takes a little while. It probably takes 7 to 10 minutes as well. But I don't have the absolute best gear. I'm not using legendaries. I'm not using any super crazy pay-to-win gear. I'm just using basic cheap uniques. My gear cost me about 40 to 50 million mesos, maybe even less than that, actually. But unfortunately, prices of stuff has just gone up a lot lately. Everything's just getting more and more expensive. So it's going to cost a bit more now, but anything too crazy. I mean, if you're looking at just a legendary weapon alone is going to actually end up costing several hundred million mesos. So one piece of legendary gear is going to cost several times more than a full unique gear set would. So full uniques are starting to not look as expensive when you compare it to legendary gear. And a lot of the videos that you'll see of people soloing Zakum are going to be with legendary gear. So yeah, they can do it quickly. There's definitely people who can go ahead and do it in, 5 to 10 minutes easily, maybe even quicker than that. But when you spend hundreds of millions, if not billions of mesos on your gear, that's a little bit different. Doing 10 to 12,000 damage with this attack, this is something that you can pretty easily do without really too big of an investment in your gear. So it's not like you have to be insanely super well geared in order to actually end up doing Zakum solo. The biggest thing is the potions. Now you can see that I've already actually ended up using 80 potions so far, which is about 80,000 mesos. So it's a bit of an investment. 80,000 mesos spent so far, but if it is true and the drop rate on items is much higher on solo than it is with the group, it's definitely going to be worthwhile, especially considering that it's not nearly as difficult to make 80,000 mesos now as it used to be. So I'll probably end up using 300 to 400 potions. Maybe I won't actually end up using quite that many. I'll probably end up using 250-ish potions. Probably still have, I want to say probably 5 minutes on the arms. Maybe a little bit less than that, but again, this is the downside to solo Zakum when you don't have insanely expensive gear or anything like that. No legendaries, no pay-to-win gear. It does take a little while, but it's definitely worth it if the drop chance on gear is a lot higher. I mean, if you're sharing drops with everybody else in your group and you're running with 10 people, well, that would definitely explain why it's very rare to find people who actually get drops from Zakum in a 10-man group. Actually, I'm curious. Why don't I ask you guys a little bit of a comment to those of you guys who are listening to this part of the video. I'll ask you guys, have you gotten any drops from Zakum? And if you have, was it in a 10-man group? How many 10-man groups did you do? How many group runs of Zakum have you done before you ended up getting a drop? Or did you end up doing solo Zakum like I'm doing right now? And is that when you started to get drops? And how many solo runs have you done? So we'll go ahead and see if we can gather a little bit of information from the comments. Let me know what you guys have been averaging when it comes to drops. And it really does also suck that they nerfed the number of gold leaves that you get. I guess it's not really a nerf. It was just a bug and they ended up fixing it, so not really a nerf. It was just a bug fix, but Zakum was definitely one of the best ways of actually getting gold leaves. You were able to get 400 gold leaves in just a couple of minutes, and now it's only 100, so as we get closer to the second phase, I'm going to have to end up switching my skills. Definitely don't want to do it right now because, again, unfortunately, Angel Ray only actually ends up hitting 7 targets. So, a little bit of a problem when Zakum has 8 arms. But I'll end up switching skills, and then I'll go ahead and I'll head to the spot where you don't actually end up taking any damage from those crashing pillars that you'll end up seeing in the second phase. So what have we used? We've used about 120 potions so far. So, let's not forget the mana potions. Those are also 1,000 mesos each. So we've also used, what have we used? 50 of those. So we've used almost 200 potions, which is 200,000 mesos. Might seem like a lot, but again, especially considering I talked about it so much in the last video, for those of you guys who haven't seen it, I talk a lot about the economy and Maplestory M changing, prices of everything getting way more expensive. You know, epic items are selling for 300, 400, 500,000 mesos each. It might even be worse. A lot of people are saying that on their server, like if you play on Scania, it's even worse. Like, things are selling for even more. So, a couple 100,000 mesos might seem like a lot, but when every single epic item is selling for several 100,000 mesos, I mean, you could sell one epic item and then have enough mesos to fund the potions to do a full Zakum solo run. And this is even without, like, super insanely good gear. So, the value of mesos is really changing a lot, which is good news for potions. It's good news for Star Force enhancing, because now the mesos that it takes to Star Force enhance your gear, it's not as bad. It's good news for a lot of things, but unfortunately, it's bad news if you're grinding. If you're grinding Trojans or the Bears for, you know, 1,000,000 mesos an hour, 1,000,000 mesos can't really get you nearly as much. So we've got to be getting closer. It's been almost 10 minutes. This is about how long it takes. Might end up being a little bit slower just because it's a video. I get a little distracted talking. Maybe I'm missing a few clicks here and there, but we should be getting closer. It should be more than a minute or two now. And now the second phase is probably going to take about 7 to 8 minutes. It's usually about how long it takes me solo. It's unfortunate that this skill does not do as much damage as Angel Ray, but so it hits 8 targets, so it definitely makes up for it in that sense. What are we at in terms of potions? So we've used almost half my potions. Not worried. The second phase, by the way, I should not be taking nearly as much damage, so I don't think I'm actually going to end up using that many health potions in the second phase of Zakum. I'd be very surprised if I actually ended up using all my potions. That would be a bit of a surprise. So it shouldn't cost me the 500,000 mesos that I ended up spending. Should be a bit less than that. I may actually end up going through all the mana potions, but I definitely don't think that I'm going to end up going through all the health potions. Now, another cool thing, is this is something you don't see in groups very much, is because I'm actually the only one doing damage, and all the damage in this run has been from this one skill, I'm actually doing pretty much the same amount of damage to all the arms at once. It might be a little bit different, but it's going to be pretty similar. So you're going to notice that pretty much all the arms are going to end up dying at the same time. So if you were to just at first glance take a look at this right now, you'd be like, whoa, he hasn't killed any arms? And look, now they're all going to start to die. Like within 30 seconds, they should all be dead. Let's see if they are. By 18 minutes, every single one of these arms should be dead. Look at, there's only, and there they are. It only took 10 seconds after that. So now we're in the second phase, and whoops, that's not where I wanted to go. This is where I want to go, right here, right on the edge. This is the safe spot where you're not going to end up getting hit by those pillars. So now what I end up wanting to do is I want to switch to Angel Ray, because this skill just does way, way more damage. So you can see this skill, the downside is, unfortunately, for the first phase, it only actually ends up hitting 7 targets, which means that you can't end up killing all the arms at once. But the actual amount of damage that it does is way higher, because I believe this skill actually ends up hitting 8 times. So the 27, 2500, all those numbers that you actually end up seeing, every single time I end up firing one of these arrows off, it's doing that 8 times. So it's doing about 20,000 or so damage every single arrow. Whereas my other skill, the Big Bang, it was only doing like 10 to 12,000 damage. So it definitely does quite a bit less damage. But it's able to actually hit 8 targets, which makes up for it. Maybe I'll end up doing a run where I use the Angel Ray, and you guys can see that it's definitely frustrating when you kill 7 arms, and then you have to sit there and just attack 1 arm for 5 minutes or so. So he's going down relatively quickly. He's got 3 bars of HP. So he's got his red bar, then he's going to have his yellow bar, and then he's going to have his green bar. So it's probably going to take 6-7 minutes. I think we should still be able to kill it above that 10-minute mark, hopefully. I could be wrong. It might take a little bit more than that, but it shouldn't be too much more. Definitely not going to even come close to failing. And this is with, again, relatively not insanely good gear. I'm not saying I have bad gear. I definitely have decent gear. I've got unique gear, but it's not legendary. It's not anything too crazy. A lot of the videos that you're going to end up seeing of people soloing Zakum are going to be with insanely, insanely good gear. They're going to have legendaries. Some people are going to have mythics. I know there's a guy who actually ended up doing a solo run of Zakum hard Zakum solo. But if you take a look at his gear, it is out of this world. I have no idea how many mesos it costs in terms of his gear, but billions to say the very least. The question isn't billions, the question is how many billions. So notice how in the spot that I'm at right now, I'm not really taking any damage too. I've been at about 200 potions, a little over 200 potions this entire time. Now I am still using mana potions, so there is still that possibility that I'm going to end up going through all my mana potions. I still think I should have more than enough, but those pillars are not hitting me. The pillars that come crashing down, those are missing me. The trash mobs that he spawns are not really a big problem. There's a couple of skills that will occasionally, you know, lightning will hit me, but besides that, I'm not using that many health potions, and I'm not taking a ton of damage. Like, that lightning skill still does hit me, but the pillars is the big one. That skill does a lot of damage. You also don't have to worry about stuns or anything like that over here. So, at this point, this phase is pretty much just standing here and doing as much damage per second to the boss as you can. And as you can see, we are almost at about, he's almost at about half his health right now. Still got over 200 health potions. Still got 40-something mana potions. I don't think I'm actually going to end up using all my mana potions either. I actually don't think I've paid this much attention to the music in this fight either. It's actually pretty cool. I didn't even notice it. It's very eerie. Very mysterious and solemn music. And I'm also curious to see, you know how awesome it would be if I got a drop while I was recording? I actually did get the helm. And I was like, oh man, this was the run that I was going to record, but I didn't end up recording it because I was still testing some stuff. I was still testing the skills, whether it was quicker to use Angel Ray or whether it was quicker to use Big Bang. And I didn't end up recording it, and that's when I ended up getting the helm, so didn't capture that on recording, unfortunately. We're getting close to his last bar, his last bit of HP, so a few more minutes of damaging him down. Alright. And as we get closer and closer to actually killing him, I want to say thank you guys, of course, for watching the video. It's not over yet, of course, but I still want to say thank you. When I do these kind of videos where it's going to be longer, probably closer to a half an hour video because, you know, it just takes a while to kill Zakum with the gear that I have and explaining everything and whatnot. It gives me an opportunity to just say a few things that I don't normally end up saying in videos because I just don't have enough time to. And I want to say a big thank you, guys. Because not only did we end up passing over 2,000 subscribers, but we actually are over 3,000 subscribers now. So a big thank you, guys. I have to start working on that 3,000 subscriber special. It might still be a couple of days before I end up releasing it because I did not expect it to happen so soon. Definitely caught me a bit off guard. Looks like you guys not only liked the polls that I did, but you also liked that giveaway. That video is up to almost 1,000 likes already, so thank you so much, guys. And of course, if you're watching this, if you haven't checked out or you haven't seen that, not only do I end up doing 3,000 crystals worth of pulls from the treasure boxes, the same thing that we did for that 1,000 subscriber special, but I also end up doing a little bit of a bonus giveaway where I'm giving away 4,950 crystals, which is the equivalent of $31 Google Play or iTunes. It's going to be an iTunes or Google Play gift card. You can enter from anywhere. If you end up winning and you're not in US or you don't use the US dollar, you could just contact me and communicate via email, and I'll make sure to get you the right Google Play or iTunes card because they do use different gift cards for different regions. So just make sure to let me know where you are so I can get you the right gift card in the right currency so that you could actually use it. But if you haven't entered that, that was in the 2,000 subscriber special. So a big thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We are over, I think, 3,200 subscribers now, and got to start working on that 3,000 subscriber special. So I'll leave a link to that video in the description again, and if you guys have anything you want to say about this run, this video, the one that I'm doing right now, the Zakum run, any questions about this or anything you guys want to let me know, feel free. And, yeah, he's about to go down. All right. Here we go. Still got plenty of potions, and that's it. There he is. Item? Oh, no. That would have been awesome. I don't think I see anything. I still could be wrong, but I don't see anything here that dropped. Let's see. Nope, just looks like gold leaves. And unfortunately, they did end up nerfing it. Used to give you 8 gold leaves, and now it gives you 2. So it ends up being a total of, I believe, 100 gold leaves. Whereas before, it used to give you 400 gold leaves. So you can take a look at the damage. 90 million HP is how much Zakum has. A little over 90 million HP across all of his arms and his phases. 90,543,789. Nobody else in the group, of course, so I am first place. Best place, of course. And, yeah, Zakum solo with, here's my gear, by the way. So you'll notice that it is unique, but nothing is legendary. Nothing is really too crazy. All this gear, when I ended up buying it, it was... Most of the gear, most of the armor was like 5 to 8 million mesos each. In fact, some pieces were closer to 4 million mesos. I think the boots and the gloves are 4 million, a little over 4 million mesos. The weapon was, I think, 9 million mesos I ended up paying for it. So all this gear that I got, it was under 50-ish million mesos, but unfortunately prices have gone up a lot lately. So you can't get this kind of gear for 50 million mesos anymore. It's going to cost you a bit more because of the inflation of the economy. But no legendaries, no emblems. You could definitely get this gear free to play without spending any money on the game. You don't have to whale. You don't have to buy anything in the cash shop. You don't have to buy from those third-party mesa sellers to get this gear. Just play the game, be consistent, do your dailies, do your missions, especially your elite dungeons now that gear is going up so much in price. And you could definitely end up getting the gear that I have completely free to play to be able to solo Zakum. So this was about a 20-minute solo Zakum with the gear that I had with the Bishop class. And you know what? Maybe in the future I'll do a little bit of a follow-up. But I also really, really want to do some more investigation and research on whether it is confirmed on whether you get more drops when you do Zakum solo. It appears that you do, but because I'm not 100% sure, I don't want to say it yet. I want to wait until everybody knows and it's about as confirmed as it can be. But it definitely does seem to be the case, which is why you see a lot of people out there doing solo Zakum runs lately. So that's it. I'm going to wrap up this video here. It was a longer one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the gameplay footage, the commentary, the information, the little safe spot, how I do it on a bishop, the little tactic on potions. Speaking of which, let me go back to my original potions now because these potions are very expensive. So when I don't have to use these potions, I don't want to. And also, don't forget at the end of the run as well to set your pet back to what you were using before. I don't need to use my potions when I'm almost full. I can go back to 50%. Sometimes they even go down to 30%, but 50% is fine. I'll go down to 30% for mana. Let's see. It's still using the expensive mana potion, which I should not be using. So let me switch back to this. There we go. Back to the cheap potions. How many potions did we end up using total? We still have over 200 of those HP ones, right? Yeah, we do. We have 200, 198 of these, 15 mana potions. So we actually only ended up using about half our potions, a little more than that. So we still have, we used about 300,000 mesos in potions. Not too bad. Took about 20 minutes, and that's how we do it. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching the video. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like, of course. Any comments or any feedback that you guys have, if you are new to the channel, of course, consider subscribing for notifications of future videos, more fun subscriber specials, including that 3K, that 3,000 subscriber special soon. And don't forget to check out the giveaway and the chest pulls that I did. I'll leave a link to that in the description. So big thanks once again, everyone. Have a great day, and until next time, this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.